Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Empower Success in Africa podcast. Well, it is a podcast that will take you on a journey of rediscovery. Well, I'm your host, Nadine Tongema, and this space is dedicated to uncovering the true essence of African identity, culture, and spirituality. For far too long, Africa has been defined by narratives of struggle, poverty, and dependency. But that's not our true story. Long before colonialism, before the world tried to redefine us, we were scholars, rulers, and spiritual visionaries. We had civilizations that stood as beacons of knowledge, wealth, and innovation. And if we are to move forward, we must return to the essence of what made us great. So my question is, why does rediscovering our culture, identity, and spirituality matters for success? Well, because success is not just about economics. It is about self-awareness. It is about knowing your roots, understanding and standing firm in your values, and embracing the power of your ancestries. Think about it. Every successful nation, every thriving people have built their progress upon a deep understanding of their identity. Look at the Chinese. They drew strength from their dynastic history. The Europeans preserve and honor their heritage. But Africa, we have been conditioned to forget, to believe that our history began with oppression, that our traditions are outdated, that our spirituality is primitive. And that, my friends, is the greatest lie ever told. To empower success in Africa, we must dismantle these false narratives. We must reclaim our history, embrace our identity, and reconnect with our spirituality, because these are the very foundations of power. Our ancestors did not wait for validation from the outside world. They built empires. Mali, Kuch, Benin, Great Zimbabwe, where knowledge and leadership thrived. They understood the value of community, the power of storytelling, and the strength of unity. Today, we must ask ourselves, how can we build a future if we don't know our past? How can we stand tall if we are disconnected from our foundation? Cultural identity is not just about wearing African fabrics or speaking our native languages. It is about knowing that we belong to a lineage of greatness. It is about understanding that we have something unique to offer to the world. And most importantly, it is about owning our narrative. Of course, there's no way I'm going to end this talk without looking into spirituality, because it is the key to inner and outer success. It is where true power lies. Before foreign religions, before colonial doctrines, Africans had a deep spiritual connection. We understood the power of ancestors, the balance of nature, and the sacredness of community. Not to forget the wisdom of the unseen. Whether it was a concept of Ase in Yoruba belief, the Chi of the Igbo, or the Mahat of ancient Kemet. African spirituality was about balance, justice, and purpose. It was about knowing that our journey on this earth is interconnected with those who came before us and with those who will come after us. It gave us clarity, direction, and a sense of belonging. Well, today, many of us have abandoned these principles, adopting foreign ideologies that often strip us of our true essence. We are left feeling lost, disconnected, and uncertain of our place in the world. That is why this podcast exists. To reignite the fire of African spirituality. To remind us that success is not just material worth, but a deep alignment with purpose, heritage, and driven energy. This podcast is more than just history. It is a movement. And every episode will uncover the lost knowledge of Africa's past and connect it to the reality of today. Through storytelling, real-life examples, and deep conversations, we will break the cycle of disconnection and awaken the greatness in us. Africa is rising. But to rise fully, we must do so with clarity, with knowledge, and with purpose. This is our time to redefine success, not through Western validation, but through the power that already exists within us. We are the descendants of kings and queens, warriors and scholars, healers and visionaries. The world will not give us our place. We must claim it. African spirituality isn't just about rituals and ancestral connection. It is a living, breathing force that shapes culture, society, and even politics. It has played a crucial role in the past, and I believe it will continue to do so as Africa moves forward. But what does this really mean in practical terms? In many African countries, traditional healers and spiritual leaders are more than just figures of faith. They are essential to healthcare. In South Africa, for example, I have seen firsthand how integrating traditional healing and modern medicine can bring remarkable results, especially in rural areas where hospitals and clinics are scarce. Think about it. Traditional healers don't just treat symptoms, they address the root cause, be it physical, emotional, or spiritual. This holistic approach of healing is something modern healthcare could learn from. By combining indigenous knowledge with scientific advancement, we can create a healthcare system that truly serves all Africans. African spirituality has long served as a unifying force among diverse ethnic groups. One striking example is the post-apartheid of South Africa. In a country once deeply divided by racial tensions, spiritual gatherings and rituals became tools of healing and national reconciliation. These practices reminded people that beyond political lines and imposed divisions, we share a spiritual and ancestral bond. Our spirituality connects us with something greater than ourselves. It reminds us that Ubuntu, I am because we are, is more than a concept. It is a way of life that strengthens our society and fosters unity. Many African spiritual beliefs emphasize a deep connection with nature. Across the continent, communities have practiced environmental conservation for centuries, guided by spiritual values. Take the Maasai people of Kenya and Tanzania, for example. Their traditional land management and grazing systems ensure sustainability, respecting the delicate balance between human, animals, and the earth. They don't just see nature as something to exploit. They see it as sacred. What if more modern policies embraced this wisdom? Imagine an Africa where economic development aligns with environmental sustainability, where we recognize that protecting the land is not a luxury but a necessity. African spirituality has also fueled political movement. One powerful case is the Ogoni people of Nigeria, who have fought for environmental justice against multinational oil companies. Their activism is deeply rooted in the spiritual belief in the sacredness of the land. Their resistance has drawn international attention, shedding light on the exploitation of Africa's natural resources. But beyond politics, this fight is spiritual. It is about protecting the essence of life itself. This raises an important question. Can African spirituality be a guiding force for ethical leadership and governance? I believe it can. When leaders govern with the understanding that the land, the people, and the spirit are interconnected, they make better decisions for the collective good. I have come across organizations that integrate traditional values and spirituality into their curricula. These programs don't just teach history. They instill cultural pride and self-esteem in young Africans. Imagine a generation that grows up understanding that their heritage is not something to hide, but something to celebrate. A generation that learns from both the ancient wisdom and modern knowledge. This fusion of the old and the new is the key to true empowerment. Spiritual tourism is also becoming a major industry in countries like Ghana, Senegal. Festivals, rituals, and sacred sites attract visitors from all over the world, creating jobs and boosting local economies. People are searching for meaning, for connection, and Africa has a wealth of spiritual heritage to offer. By embracing this, we not only preserve our traditions, but also turn them into sources of economic growth. Now, many will argue that African spirituality is at odds with modernity. But I ask this question: what is modernity? Who defines it? And why should we accept a version of modernity that ignores the depth of our spiritual and cultural heritage? The question is why? Modernity, in my view, is not about abandoning our roots. It is about evolving while staying connected to who we truly are. It is about merging the wisdom of our ancestors with the innovation of today. As we move forward, let's not see African spirituality as something of the past. Let's recognize it as a powerful force of healing, unity, sustainability, justice, education, and economic growth. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If this episode has resonated with you, don't forget to like, comment, and share, because knowledge grows when it is passed on. I'll see you next Wednesday for another powerful conversation. But until then, stay proud, stay curious, stay connected to your roots. This was your host, Nadine Tongem, signing off.